Hi everyone, Sharona here. So before we get started, please like, share, subscribe. Let's grow our little channel. We're gonna talk Charlie Kirk. I was contemplating should I speak on it, and the reason why it's because I don't do politics. And the reason why I don't do politics is because I don't understand it, right? And you don't want to report on something that you're not sure of, you're not clear on. So, with this video right here, I'm going to give my little 1-2 take. Then I'm going to play videos of both sides of who this Charlie person was, Charlie Kirk. I never knew of him, not one bit of him until September 10th when his life was taken. No clue who he was. Never knew he was this speaker, anything like that. But first, let me read on what he is when you ask Google. So I said to Google, who was Charlie Kirk? And it says Charles James Kirk was an American political activist, author, and media personality. He co founded the conservative student organization Turning Point USA in 2012 and was its executive director. He was the chief executive officer of Turning Point Action and a member of the Council for National Policy. So they're saying that's who he is. Now, from everything I've learned from Wednesday until now, he was a speaker that went around challenging people on what their belief was and what he was his side was. So basically, it was like I don't want to use a battle. It was a conversation of why am I right and why you are right. If you get what I'm saying. And he goes around to a lot of areas and debate with the kids, and he's all on news program debating, with Christianity. He's very strong in his idea of Christianity and family, but then there's a side to him that is not so nice. People are calling him a racist, he's a sexist, he's homophobic, just everything like that. So to see what happened to him and the uproar of both sides, left and right, just going at it with this person who, from what I'm seeing, is it's very racist. The things that he's saying is racist. Of course, his side is not going to feel that way, but with stuff that I've seen that he said, and again, this is social media. They can edit and add and subtract, but too many people are saying the same things. And even him himself, Charlie, you hear it in his own words what he's saying. And from Wednesday until now, listening to stuff that he said, he did not seem like a good Christian, where you don't know what Christian is anymore. I thought they were supposed to be this religion of love and acceptance and not hatred and putting people down. And I thought Christianity was about showing equal love, support to everyone of the world, no matter what color, creed, religion, anything like that. But to hear some of the stuff that he says, I can't even. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna look at some of these videos. So you saw him right there. That was the day he lost his life. Now, they have the unedited video all over social media. You can go and watch it if you want. And no matter how much you disagree with someone on their politics, their policies, what they stand for, to be taken out like this. And then I heard his wife and his kids were there when the incident happened. And to see that video, it is so graphic. It's disturbing. I watched the video about twice, and I said, no matter how much you dislike someone for their stance on situation you might not agree with, to have this on social media and for you to be taken out this way, it's unbelievable. It's just bad. Anyways, with that being said, he did some kind of interview where he said something that, people have to be killed for rules to be learned. I think gun rules, and right there he was shot. Right? So, they were going back and forth. Politics, they're blaming the left. I guess the left are the Democrats and then the rights are Republican. And, they came out talking and people were like, now they want to, like everyone. Let me say this. In America, when you hear of an incident of someone being attacked, either the person is unalive or whatever, you have black people, African Americans, I think, praying, majority of them praying, please do not be black, please do not be black. Because America is a predominantly white country, right? And he was in Utah, a prominently white state. I think only probably 2% of Utah is black. So if you look at that and the kind of people that was there at the time in that state, most likely it would have been a white person, right? So finally it comes out, they catch the killer. Apparently you know what? Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th, in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th, in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate. The family member also confirmed Robinson had a gray Dodge Challenger. Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. I know there has been speculation as well as to the writing on those casings, those bullet casings, and I believe we have that as well. And I will share that with you now. So the area north of Campus Drive Road where the suspect crossed over, you saw some of that in the video that we released last night, consists of a grassy area with trees on the edge of the UVU campus. Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a dark-colored towel. The rifle was determined to be a Mauser Model 98 .30-6 caliber bolt-action rifle. The rifle had a scope mounted on top of it. Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices, bulges, capital OWO, what's this?" ? Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" ! Catch! ! Up arrow symbol, right arrow and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow, Chow." And a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO."
So you heard all that. You also heard him say that he was praying it was not one of them. Now, when he says not one of them, did he mean an American or did he mean a white right person? Tell me your thoughts. Who did he expect for them to catch? Again, I think he might have thought it was a black person, which again in Utah, or a Muslim, or somebody who's non-white. That's what he was praying for. And then if it was someone who was non-white, then all hell would have broke loose. And, America would come falling down. So I'm just going to play the videos for you going forward just to hear of different people's perspective on it. I don't know if it's because of the social media things that I tweet or look into why most of my feedback on him is just horrible, the kind of person he is, but I wanted to be fair. So I also made sure to put people like a Candace Owen who cried. You're going to see her crying over this man saying he's a good person. And this is a person who said that he would not want to get on a plane with a pilot who's black because he thinks it's DEI. And I'm like, what the freak are you saying? In order to become a pilot, you have to go through classes. You have to go through training, physical training, flying a plane, everything like that. You have the Army, the Navy. You have a lot of black officers. And this man is like, if he goes on a plane and the pilot is black, he doesn't feel safe because of DEI, meaning they only hired him because he was black. No, they hired him because he went to school, he took all the courses, he took all the, everything that you need to do physically to fly a plane, everything like that. It has nothing to do with DEI. And to put that out there, like, just because, we need to see black plane pilots, then they're just going to pick any random black person. No. And to put that out there, not only racist, but it's not true. It's not true. DEI is there because there is no equality when it comes. Now, let's put it this way. If there are 5 white pilots and 1 black pilot, and they all scored the same, test the same, everything, but then you want to fill your department, and you're like, oh, but we already have 10 white ones here. You know what? Let's put the black one in, show diversity or anything like that. That's why DEI is there, because if they put another white person in there, it would be like it's 11 white person, there's no black person there. If you get what I'm saying, just to break it down that way. No, they want to see diversity in their offices, in spaces. So if you already have 10 white people in a space and they want to put a person of color and they have, like I said, two white pilots and 1 black pilot, everything is exactly the same. If you want to diversify, why would you go for a white pilot when you have that 1 black pilot who tests the same way? Why wouldn't you want that person in there so you could have diversity and people can see that you're accepting of others than just lily white? If you get what I'm saying. So basically that's a breakdown. The breakdown is to put people of color who also qualify as high as a white person, they can do the job. And they have to put them in there because if they don't, all those companies or people are going to be hiring is just white, 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 because in America you're told white people, they're the greatest race, so we don't need anyone else. Even though you have these black universities, you have Hispanics, Indians. Well, I don't even talk about Indians because whatever with them. But, to show that, no, we are just as qualified. So we need to be put somewhere. We went to school. We did the job. Give us the job so we can get paid and go support ourselves. Right? So that's the reason why, again, You have five white teachers in a school. A black person comes in for that teacher's job, and it so happens it's a black teacher and two white teachers. You already have five. If that black teacher scores the same as these other two, why wouldn't you give it to that black person to say, here we go, we're including. So when kids come around, they see themselves, they themselves can become teachers. If you get what I'm saying. So, in America, it's just, you know what, we're gonna stop. We're gonna go back to Charlie Kirk, and then we'll just watch these videos. Because again, I don't understand politics. I don't do it, but I know certain stuff that seems like it's geared towards or against, which is not right. So, let's just watch these videos.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Shank. I live as a capitalist, okay? I live what I believe. No. What do? I get charity every single year.
I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Because of DEI, it begs the question, when you see a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified. If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? It almost creates thought patterns that are not necessarily. No one really cares when it's HR managers. No one cared when it was, just kind of paper shufflers or even engineers. But now when it's like, wait, hold on a second. You're going to remove my appendix and you're a black lesbian.
Charlie Kirk.
Let's be absolutely clear on who unalived Charlie Kirk. He wasn't black. He wasn't Latino. He wasn't Asian. He wasn't a person of color. He wasn't an immigrant. He wasn't trans. He wasn't some outsider the right loves to scapegoat. He was homegrown. He was white. His name was Tyler Robinson, and he came straight out of Utah. He wasn't some radical leftist. He wasn't Antifa. He wasn't a progressive activist. The man was decked out in an American flag t-shirt. That alone tells you everything. Liberals don't dress like that. That's part of the conservative starter kit, straight down the line. And the bullet evidence makes it even clearer. Investigators found an unfired round engraved with the words, "If you're seeing this, you're gay, LMAO." Nobody on the left is out here writing that. This kind of message is pure far-right culture. Juvenile, homophobic, straight out of their playbook.
Charlie Kirk said of black women leaders, he called Joy Reid, Michelle Obama, Ketanji Brown Jackson, Sheila Jackson Lee. He said, quote, "You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken seriously. You had to steal a white person's slot." He called Martin Luther King Jr. awful and not a good person. He said, "We made a huge mistake when we passed the Civil Rights Act in the 1960s. He called gay and transgender people groomers. Said, "We must ban trans-affirming care." The entire country, Donald Trump needs to run on this issue. When Zohran Mamdani won the Democratic primary, Kirk said, quote, 24 years ago, a group of Muslims killed 2,753 people on 9/11. Now a Muslim socialist is on pace to run New York City. He called Islam, quote, "the sword the left is using to slit the throat of America." Pretty awful stuff. I just, I don't get all this.
You motherfucking animals! You liberal, progressive, deranged fucking animals! You are so hateful in your hearts to go out and shoot a young man who's never hurted anyone with Christian values, a young, beautiful family, a father, a husband, a friend, a son. You shot him. Why? Because you didn't agree with his politics? Because you didn't agree with his ideology? That's the reason why he deserves to die? You fucking animals!
Our relationship was real. We were brother and sister. We were fortified. Our relationship was forged in fire, the fire of politics. I knew him. I knew Charlie, the real Charlie. And Charlie knew the real Candace. you know? I think in the end, Charlie was going through a spiritual transformation. I don't think it, I know it. He was going through a lot, and there was a lot of pressure. And it's hard for me to watch the people who were pressuring him, I don't know, just say the things that they're saying. You know, there's something about it that just feels really fake to me. And they would have allowed him to lose and wanted him to lose everything for changing or even slightly modifying an opinion. And then to see them doing what they're doing today, it's hurtful to me. It's very hurtful to me. But I don't want today to be about anything other than you guys knowing that Charlie really was an amazing person. You know, he was like, we were really close. And he was my best friend and my brother. I don't know what else to say, guys, other than I'm in a lot of pain right now. And I love you, Charlie, and I'll see you when I'll see you. I love you very much. Thank you, guys.
Oh, good God. Yeah. He's dead. Dear Turning Point USA family, it's with a heavy heart that we, the Turning Point USA leadership team, write to notify you that earlier this afternoon, Charlie went to his eternal reward with Jesus Christ in heaven.
I have just received news that I'm not even going to repeat because I don't have it confirmed.
As I just mentioned, Charlie Kirk has died at a hospital in Utah. At the risk of sounding repetitive, Charlie Kirk was an incredible man. Charlie Kirk was a good friend, not just to me, for anyone who holds a microphone and anyone involved in politics.
Charlie inspired millions, and tonight, all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth.
I tried it and I can't do it anymore. I can't hear one more person in this country say, this is not who we are. This is exactly who we are. What do you mean this is not who we are? Who is it? Is it another country impersonating us? This is exactly who we are. The racism, the violence, the sexism, all of the isms that keep us divided, which is one of the reasons why I never call this the United States of America, because we aren't united. You want to know who we really are? Through all of the things that everyone is experiencing after the killing of Charlie Kirk. We don't know yet because they haven't caught the person. I can tell you probably safely who it wasn't, because this took place in Utah. So I'm telling you right now, it is probably not a black person and certainly not a gang member, which is exactly what Charlie Kirk was talking about when he got shot, talking about gang violence. So it wasn't a gang member, not a black affiliated gang member. And despite all of that, there are HBCUs that are getting death threats, in particular in Virginia and Alabama. This is exactly who we are, America. Black people get demonized and villainized to the degree that we get blamed for the things that we don't even have a hand in. This is exactly who we are.
Right, the main sign.
You said it was based on scripture and you believe that there are moral, correct, yes, objective, universal truths.
Yes, there are.
So
murder is wrong today and murder was wrong 2,000 years ago.
Right, okay, fair. That's not same-sex, but fair. I see your point.
But there are moral truths that are transcendent of time, place, and matter.
Okay, but so just to clarify, you believe that this is in the Bible. This is laid out in the Bible, that man shall not sleep with man, and so therefore...
Well, it's also repeated throughout the New Testament as well. In the book of Matthew, Jesus reaffirms the biblical standard for marriage.
Okay, so I'm going to make two very, very quick points. So the first, so if we look at the Old Testament in isolation, just to start off with, as an example, so let's look at Exodus 35:2, which suggests that if you work on the Sabbath, you should be put to death. If you look at Leviticus 11:7, it suggests that if you have pork, you should be put to death. Let me finish, I'll be done. If you plant two crops side by side, you should be stoned by your entire village. If you wear a suit, which you are wearing now, that contains two different fibers intertwined into the same jacket, you should be burned at the stake by your own mother. Now, following that rationale, in Leviticus 18:22, when it states that man shall not sleep with man, why aren't we burning ourselves at the stake as well? Why aren't we stoning ourselves to death?
Yes, everyone. So, those are just some of the comments. It's a lot, or videos, I should say. It's a lot, it's a lot, it's a lot, it's a lot. Social media, everyone has their point of view. Everyone, now it's like, it's black and white, it's Muslim, this, it's just sad. And another thing we need to send prayers out to, that exact same day, they had another school shooting. And this was a white kid, and no one in this school shooting was killed. I think it was 3 injured. But because of this Charlie Kirk, no one spoke on the school shooting. And that's what's a problem in America. It's the gun, it's the violence, it's just unbelievable. So again, hopefully this, is enough for you to know what's going on if you're not into politics or understand it. I hope these videos kind of show you who this person was, and what people were saying about him, and those who supported him and those who didn't. So we're just going to close it off with his wife. She came out and gave a speech. It's 16 minutes, but I didn't put the entire 16 minutes. You can go listen to it. This is just about 5 minutes of it. And can I say, when she started talking, we're going to keep his work going, keep him alive. We will not. It sounds kind of threatening, like she is telling people, you're going to kill people, or, they're going to know they messed with the wrong one. That's what it sounded like to her. And as far as, his family goes, it's sad. He has 2 kids. They're under 5. I think he has a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. And it's sad that they won't no longer see their dad. I'm not quite sure if it's in this clip, but she said that her 3-year-old was asking for a dad. And she basically told the 3-year-old that he went to work with the Lord. Explaining it that way. But, prayers go out to the kids. They're so young. They might not remember it. But, this will be edged in stone, because Trump is already talking about giving him some kind of medal of honor or something to that effect. And he's not a politician. He's not a politician, so I'm not quite sure why, that would be given to him. But, yeah, politics, it's rough. It's nasty. You hear stories, you don't know who's telling the truth. When your news source used to be your main people like CNN and NBC, even with these people, you don't know if they're gaslighting or what's going on. So it's like you don't know who to believe. You just have to, I guess, research it for yourself and see where you go. But, other than that, that's what's going on now in America. And I think it's going to be like that until he's buried, right? Because it's fresh, and, we haven't heard of any news of any funerals, plans, services, anything like that. But until he's laid to rest, and probably couple days after, this too shall pass, and we're gonna hear about more shootings, because of course this is America. And that Dondre, the actor, said, when people are like, not in America, then where else? this is where it's coming from. And you know, everything is just so politicalized here. They're talking about, you know, probably it has to do because he was telling people to release the Epstein file and Donald Trump doesn't want that, and he was more siding now that Israel was really doing a genocide on the Gaza Strip. Just different stuff. But yeah, so hopefully this was explained something about this event, not anything else. And we're going to close out with his wife. So listen to what she had to say. Again, as I said, certain part of her speech, it's 16 minutes. I'm only doing about 5. Go listen to it. It just sounds like somebody who's threatening people. Like, we're going to make sure, you know. So anyways, gossipers, as always, please like, share, subscribe. Before we listen to his wife, this was an innocent man that they had handcuffed thinking he was a suspect. And they released him. I think he should sue them. Sue them for everything.
Evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done. They killed Charlie because he preached a message of patriotism, faith, and of God's merciful love. But they should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country. In this world, you have no idea. You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry. To everyone listening tonight across America, the movement my husband built will not die. It won't. I refuse to let that happen. It will not die. All of us will refuse to let that happen. No one will ever forget my husband's name, and I will make sure of it.